Okay, Melanie. So what do you make of Baird's speech today?
Baird's speech was actually quite appalling. He did open his speech with quoting, he wants to make it clear that Canada is completely determined to honor their commitments. And that was a direct insult to the international community, knowing very well that, quote, our commitments are not the Kyoto commitments. He continued with, in 2020, we will reduce by 20% from our current emissions, and knowing, again, that it isn't the 1990 base levels from the Kyoto. He continued also in his speech about supporting common but differentiated responsibilities. Normally, when countries speak of this, it is to reflect the right to develop of the developing countries and to honor their struggle to address poverty as well as reduce emissions and balance that. It is certainly not to excuse the northern countries for their responsibility in their climate change. The Canadian government's speech was followed by that of Fiji, where the minister blatantly charged industrialized and developed countries with the crime of climate change, saying that she insisted that they take the honorable responsibility to make up for their climate change emissions before their island is underwater. And at no point did Mr. Baird speak of our historic responsibility. And he even concluded his speech with, let's agree to look beyond, or to look ahead towards the common good and beyond the rights of each individual and the betterment of the individuals, when he never spoke of responsibility and our historic responsibility to especially these small island nations.
Are you saying that he's misleading the nations here? Because we're hearing that from some other members.
Definitely. He's slight-handing, and he's having them look the other way while he's here alone without his opposition government, straightforwardly trying to sneak away and to move forward with the climate plan, not even truly explain the climate plan. There was a side event where it was put on by the government of Canada where he was supposed to explain the climate plan, the Purple Climate Plan, didn't even show up. So he's definitely misleading the community. He's not really taking the Kyoto, the Bali negotiations seriously as far as I'm concerned. Yes, clearly there's 47 islands or nations in the small island states, and if they are those who are completely vulnerable to today with climate change, if the world knew that 47 nations were vulnerable and were ready to be completely obliterated by climate change, but didn't know which ones, maybe then Mr. Baird would take the negotiations seriously. But right now, because we are certain which ones are being affected, and Canada is being affected, and in his speech he did acknowledge that Canada is being affected by climate change, but not nearly as much as those we have affected with our historic emissions. So we do need to take responsibility, and Canada wants to, the Canadian people do want to. We need to see that reflected in the government.